Joining me from U.S. State of Tennessee is Sarah Hsu. She's an associate professor of economics at the State University of New York at New Paltz. Welcome to our program, Sarah. Let me begin with a tweet from President Trump this morning, and this is what he had to say. Just had a long and very good conversation with President Xi Jinping of China. We talked about many subjects with a heavy emphasis on trade. Those discussions are moving along nicely, with meetings being scheduled at the G20 in Argentina. Also had good discussions on North Korea. So we heard the words good twice, nicely once. Is this a change of tone? Is this a shift?
You know, it's really impossible to say at this point. And the reason is because President Trump has been almost solely in charge of the negotiations between the U.S. and China. Lower level officials have attempted to negotiate, but those negotiations have often been interrupted by President Trump himself. So it's not really clear what is happening. It's not clear what exactly his conversation with President Xi Jinping was over the phone and what it might be at the G20. We simply have to wait and see for that.
Let me move on to a meeting in Beijing between Lamar Alexander, who led a Republican delegation there. They met with Premier Li Keqiang. How significant is that? And what do you make of the timing, Sue, less than a week before midterm elections?
I think that it's really Lamar Alexander really wants to demonstrate that many Republicans are in favor of a more tempered approach to China. He himself has expressed some concern over the trade war, and he's somewhat less hawkish than President Trump. And he has stated explicitly that China and the U.S. are competitors, but not adversaries, which is not necessarily the tone that has been given off by President Trump. So the significance is mostly political, mostly for, just the looks of it, probably. I don't know that anything can necessarily come of it. And it appears that the Chinese are skeptical, but still, Premier Li stated that he hopes that the U.S. and China will be able to overcome some of these differences to negotiate further.
So U.S. has slapped tariffs on $250 billion in Chinese goods and, in fact, threatening to do even more. China has struck back, really targeting the soybean industry. And a lot of farmers in the Midwest are the ones that are feeling the pain here. They're the ones who voted for President Trump in 2016. How do you think this is going to play out on Tuesday during midterm elections?
You know, it's not really clear what exactly is going to happen. Some people believe that there's going to be a shift towards Democratic politicians coming into office. But there's still a lot of people who are very pro-Trump, and even a lot of people in those areas that have been hit the hardest. Some of them are the biggest Trump supporters, despite everything that's happened. So really, it's impossible to say at this point.
And if this trade war drags on, what are your concerns? Impact on the global economy?
Well, it's definitely going to slow down global growth. It's already hitting China really hard. China is going through an economic slowdown that is a real challenge to combat. And, it seems like China is potentially entering a recession, although the government would do everything it can to overcome that. In the U.S., prices are going to increase due to the tariffs, and people at home are going to feel that. People who are shopping at Walmart and just who are purchasing everyday products, and that's really going to be difficult for them.
All right, we'll leave it there. Sarah Hsu joining us from Tennessee. Thank you.